Well, well. So you figured it out? Yes. I am what keeps you in this place. But was it blind rage that made you act? Or have you truly understood who I am? Have you understood what drives you and determines your actions? The salt corrodes your skin, and the water filling your lungs is cold. But you still haven't found it, child, have you?
Oh, hey. Good to see you awake. How are you feeling? Good question. The room bit, probably a ceremony or something like that. Now, tell me, how are you holding up? I heard this trial's quite the feat. Apparently some of the novices never wake up again. In the temple. The curarium, to be precise. You were brought here when you were traveling with that Ixon guy. I think the others are already awake. But I didn't want to leave you here, so I thought I'd just stay. I mean, hey, you are a keeper of the first sigil now, aren't you? I believe congratulations are in order. Don't mention it. Bad, though, that this keeperness won't get you anywhere. Do you know why? Because you're pathetic. Simply pathetic.
I said you are pathetic. At first, we believed it would be more exciting this time. But now that we've seen the new prophet, our hopes are gone. You're a joke.
A nobody who let his only friend kick the bucket.
As if you'd ever accept that. You humans are always so damn persistent, aren't you? Why? Why can't you just let go?
Because in the end, you are powerless, just as all those before you. And you, prophetess, you are the biggest joke of all.
You are nothing but an urchin.
A weakling.
And a murderer.
And that is why you will burn. All of you. The cleansing will happen, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. What have you done to us? You are so naive. The world is an interplay of cause and effect, and the only logical consequence of your existence is annihilation. That's the way it was, and that's the way it's going to be. But enough of the banter, urchin. We wanted to meet you, and so we did, even though the result is rather sobering. Now wake up. Keep on stumbling through the mist.
Thank Malphus. I was starting to think I was the only one. How are you? You look exhausted. You did. That's probably one of the after effects of the potion, but it will pass, I'm sure of it. But it's good to see the Grandmaster was right after all. I woke up just a few hours earlier, and he was here in the meantime. He didn't doubt for a single second that you would make it. but I suppose mutual congratulations are in order. We made it. We passed the trial. Almost, yes. All that is left to do is to take the oath, and then Grandmaster Aranthiel will exalt us to the keepers of the first sigil. Speaking of whom, he also told me some things while you were asleep. About the Pyreans, about these dreams, and of course, about this cycle. This is so bizarre, really. At first we're told out of nowhere that the gods have died, and now humanity is on the brink of extinction. This is a lot to take in. Hard to say. I never had those dreams the Grandmaster talked about, even though I'm magically gifted. But then again, I always had the feeling that the Red Madness was more than an ordinary disease. Well, I suppose all of this explains a lot. At least now I can understand why the Grandmaster was willing to break all the traditions of the Order just to get you exalted to be a keeper. According to him, most of our battle against the cycle will stand or fall with you. Yes, I believe that. It's a great responsibility you've been given, and as impressive as your skills are, I would not want to change places with you. Well, as I said, we both have to take the Holy Oath. You should talk to the Grandmaster as soon as you're ready. He's waiting for you in the Emporium. Right, Dunwar. The apothecary examined him about an hour ago, and it doesn't look good. It's likely that he'll never wake up again. No, in spite of everything. You know, Dunwar was one of those people who tried to gild their insecurity with boastful behavior. The reality is that he was the last of his bloodline, and his faith in the path and his destiny as a keeper were all that he had left. And who knows? Maybe he would have been a great help to the Order with the right guidance. But I guess Master Bartar's revelation was just too much for him. It's hard to be told that everything you've lived for was a lie. You should. It's already late, but if you want, I can show you the most important places in the temple before you go to the Emporium. Good. Then get your gear from the chest by your bed and we'll go. You should reclaim your gear before we leave. Well, maybe I just don't show it as much. But yes, in a way, you're probably right. I suppose that's mainly due to the fact that to me, as opposed to Dunwar, the Order always stood for an idea. And an idea doesn't die with the one who first thought of it. Funny that the Grandmaster said nearly the same thing during the exaltation. Dunwar would have considered it blasphemy. That's true. A lot of crimes were committed during the Lightborn's reign, and I don't want to minimize that. But I also think a lot of those crimes were unavoidable, so to speak. Imagine you're the king of a small island, and one day your realm gets attacked by a fleet of Scarab Reavers. The invasion catches you completely off guard, and within a few hours, the Reavers have advanced to the farmland, just a few feet from your city's main gates. And before you know it, you have to make a decision. Will you use the time that remains to entrench your army within the city's walls to have a better chance of surviving a siege? Or do you send them into the field to fight the Reavers there, knowing that there is only a slight chance to save the farmers, but a big risk that you will lose both the city and the farmers? It would, yes. But what if your foray fails, and ends up being the reason why the Scarab can break through the city's fortifications? Wouldn't that too make you responsible for all the townsfolk they would kill once they got in? What I'm trying to say is, It doesn't matter what you do. There will be people who will despise you for your decision. If your attempt to rescue the farmers fails, you will be accused of having acted blindly and idealistically. And if you just stay in the city, they will say you didn't even try. Of course, there's a small chance the foray might work, but should decisions like that really be made as if they were a game of dice? As I said, I don't mean to absolve the Lightborn of their crimes, but I'd wager my left hand that they had a lot of similar decisions to make. I knew the question would come eventually. I suppose the answer depends on whether you're in the mood for some gloomy talk. Sooner or later, you'll hear it from someone else anyway, so why not from me first? As you wish. Where should I start? Maybe with the fact that I don't remember anything that happened before my 6th winter. I don't know where I was born, and I never got to know my parents. I wish I knew. What I do know, though, is that the first memory I have is of waking up in the middle of some village. It was dark, and I felt dizzy and, I don't know, empty? That's probably the best way to describe it. I eventually found the strength to get up and look around, and, well, that's when I realized what was actually going on around me. The entire village. It had been destroyed. There were corpses everywhere. Men, women, children, and the houses had been crushed as if some mad god had rampaged through the streets there. And it had all just happened hours before because the destruction was still fresh. Whatever it was, I didn't have much time to think about it. As soon as I got up, I saw 3 riders coming through the smoke. One of them got off his horse, ran towards one of the corpses, and started screaming something in my direction. Then I felt a blow on the back of my head, and I lost consciousness. By the name of the sun, it's strange to talk about it like this. It's been so long, but the memory feels as if it had happened yesterday. It's okay. Anyway, it turned out that the riders were men from the village who had gone hunting. They must have observed the whatever it was from the distance and ridden back to the village. At least I think that's how it went. I guess I'll never find out. The reason they thought I was somehow involved is that the village priest found me a couple of days before it happened near a shrine in the wilderness. Apparently, I was wearing torn clothing, and no matter what the apothecary tried, he couldn't wake me up from my comatose sleep. And it seems that made the writers think I was some kind of witch child, or unholy beast, whichever you prefer. For you, maybe. For them, as simple people, it was probably the best explanation they had. And think about it, it's not that far off. A motherless child who neither talks nor breathes steadily is found abandoned on the roadside and has a strange mark on her face. They leave to go hunting, and when they come back, they find their village in ruins with that foundling child being the only survivor. You have to admit, it's not that much of a stretch, even if those men hadn't been superstitious farmers. Probably. Truth be told, I try not to think about it too much. And actually, it doesn't matter, because I somehow managed to get away before they could do anything. I even made it to Ark all by myself, which didn't turn out to be much of an improvement in the end, because I was pathless. Yes. Thinking about it now, I actually wonder how I made it through my time down there. But maybe that's one of the advantages of being a child. You don't think. You just act. Still, the winters down there were cruel, and if Master Tyrus hadn't found and taken care of me, I probably wouldn't have made it through my 2nd year. Yes, otherwise I would not be here. He saw me, and he knew what he had to do, is how he put it. Of course, the Order wasn't too happy about a pathless child in the Scuola, just as some aren't happy about you being here. But Tyrus was a highly regarded man, and that's why they let it slide. That's right, we do, but we are both still pathless, and that disqualifies us according to the holy verses. I guess now you understand why I was never as connected to Malphas's teaching as Dunwar was. To some of the Keepers, I am still an outcast, and no matter what I do, I always will be. It does, yes. But then, he had lost both his wife and daughter 5 years before he found me, so maybe I was some kind of substitute. I don't know. But in the end, it doesn't matter. I owe him everything. He was a good man, and that's all that matters. That's right, we do, but we are both still... I guess now you understand why I was never as... It does, yes. But then he had lost, so maybe I was some kind of substitute. I don't know. Yes, and now I'm here. Well, here we've reached the end of my impressive tale. I hope you liked it. No, I guess I'm not. Gone. He was very old, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. But I'd prefer not to talk about it, if you don't mind. He does, yes, and he's not alone in his opinion. One of those hunters recognized me in the market my first year as a novice, and you can imagine that it was easy pickings for those who were already against my presence in the Order. From then on, they added names to the derogatory stares. Demon Child, Witch, whatever they could come up with. Yes, maybe. You know what's funny? To some extent, I'm glad to be who I am. That way, people just leave me alone, and that gives me more time to focus on what's important, on my goals. Several, but I'd say that's enough of the gloomy stories, don't you think? There will be plenty of time for chatter in the future. Maybe. Let's go. This is the sanctum. It's a place of silence and prayer, and also where we'll be exalted later.
Move along.
Pathlessness, wherever you look. Where is this supposed to lead? Thy name is my sacrament, and thy path I will honor in life as in death.
Who are you?
Okay, I think you've seen this place before. We call this part of the temple the Chronicum, and in here is gathered the knowledge of the Order. Written down in books and parchments. Plus, all of the experiments and research on artifacts and magic is done here. So it's a place you'll probably see often in the near future. Ah, and just below the Chronicum is the temple smithy. You should go there if you need equipment.
Well
Over there,
met.
that's the Scuola and the quarters, where both the keepers and the novices live. There's also a training room where everything from swordplay to marksmanship can be trained and taught. You will find some skilled teachers there. Well, I think that's about it. You've already been to the Emporium, and I assume to the Eye of the Gods as well. Prepare myself, probably. Now walk blessed. I will see you soon.
Yes. She's the scarab, isn't she? Who are you?
In agony and pain.
What would you like to hear? Sure.
Unreliable. That's what they are. All of them.
Our ancient world seemed newborn in his eyes. No place could keep him. He yearned for the skies. He abandoned the way that Malthus foresaw. He followed
Blazes, I
a
just
path
can't
of
bloody
his
believe it.
own. And he strayed in the void as a wayward wanderer, despising the path that was meant just for him. Yet the dreams that he saw
Blazes,
in
I
the
just
deep
can't
red
bloody believe it.
afterglow were as distant as ever before. He did find a home in the city below, where life neither purpose nor honor can hold. The woman who
An outlander. What are you doing in this part of the city? Shouldn't you be, I don't know, somewhere else?
he strayed in the void as a wayward wanderer, despising the path.
An outlander. What are you doing in this part of the city? Shouldn't you be, I don't know, somewhere else?
As distant as ever before. Our ancient world seemed as old as his eyes. He had lived his whole life under empty skies. When a little boy asked him for the guiding path, he said, "Do not risk Malthus's wrath, 'cause you'll stray in the void as a wayward wanderer, despising the path that is distant as they'll ever be.
Oh, yes. Guess what? There is. Some people just don't get them. Huh. You're not from the Order, are you? Elia, the novice who was assigned to me, she's supposed to help me transcribe these Pyrian tomes the Grand Master is so obsessed about in the Nobles' Quarter. I'd go look myself, but I'm lucky if I get to breathe within all this work. Go find her and tell her to get her bloody ass up here and help me. If you do that, it won't be to your disadvantage. What?
Our ancient world seemed newborn in his eyes. No place could keep him. He yearned for the skies. He abandoned the way that Malthus foresaw. He followed a path of his own. And he strayed in the void as a wayward wanderer, despising the path that was meant just for him. Yet the dreams that he sought in the deep red afterglow were as distant as ever before. He did find a home in the city below, where life neither purpose nor honor can hold. The woman who loved him held out her heart, and her suffering tore it apart. 'Cause he strayed in the void as a wayward wanderer, despising the path that was meant just for him. Yet the dreams that he sought
May his light guide you. May his light guide you. May his light.
What? What?
May his light guide you.
keepers let you run around in here, I suppose you have business with the Order. So I guess there's no harm in trading with you. But don't think it'll cost you any less than somewhere else. Walk blessed.
Ahoy!
must be a solution to this.
Yes, it makes sense. Huh?
I am Taurius Flameling, apothecarius by my path.
An outlander.
And I work together with
Keep
the artists
walking.
here, and we investigate
Keep
the Red
walk-
Madness. How may I help you?
An outlander.
That's beyond me.
An outlander. What are you doing in this part of the city? Shouldn't you
Greetings.
be... I don't know, somewhere
You don't seem
else?
familiar. You're Finn and Carbos, of course. Who doesn't know? An odd duo and completely inseparable. Why do you ask? What? How? How do you know that? My Malthus, that's... One tragic event after another. Now listen. This question might seem peculiar, but is there any chance you found amulets on them? The emblems of the apothecary. It's a ritual. Whenever one of our members passes away, their amulet will be put in Soldran's halls. They are silver with a violet jewel. Have you found... Damn it. We can't even pay them their last respect. I'll send a pigeon with the news to the League as soon as possible. With all due respect to your thirst for knowledge, I am not a magister, and I've got my hands full. In a nutshell, we are healers, and our monastery is far to the north, in the Frostcliff Mountains. However, you won't be able to reach it at the moment due to the heavy snowfall. And in case that doesn't sate your appetite, there are a couple of books about us in the library, or maybe even the Chronicum. Well then, that's what I'm here for. Take a look.
And you actually believe this could work? It sounds absurd.
I don't believe I know. The mercenary, he might not be the shining knight of Castle Starsound, but he's better than most of your men. I want him, and you will need to convince your true Chesapeake.
Who are you?
Is that so? Very well. I will convince her. You will hear from me.
I hope he knows what he's doing. This is holy ground, Outlander. You don't belong.
Well met.
Now look at that. It's the Prodigy. Not much. We haven't yet heard from the keepers old Oranthiel sent overseas, but their armory and weapons seem to belong to an order of mercenaries who normally operate in Narim or Kira. We'll see.
Prophetess, good to see you. How do you feel?
Sky can rain fire. Magisters never change.
Good. I never doubt. In any case, all that is left to do now is to recite the oath. Then we will finally deal with a more urgent matter. None of it, you'll see. The ceremony needs a little... Even if it hurts to lose more time, the cleansing approaches. I can feel it. Just this night I had another of the dreams. People I knew, including you. But these people weren't themselves. There was something else, and it spoke through them. I believe that these beings are connected to the cycle. They must be the ones who cause it. You did? It must be related to our roles as emissaries. Maybe there is a connection between us. None. Maybe they are demons or magical entities of some kind, but they are different from everything. In any case, if they are indeed responsible for the cycle, they are our enemies. That's what matters for now. Come back tomorrow for the ceremony. Yes. Why do you ask? In an old temple in the northern mountains of Narim. It was a bastion of our old... They did. What are you getting at? A fair point. But in the future, just be upfront. I do not like such veiled... So, yes, my time in the prison was... Ironically enough, that was the last thing I had expected, you know. For me, it was memories of the time before my incarceration, the prospect of what would come after it. They reminded me that I was more than this deprived creature I had become. Strange. I especially felt that in the cloister with Narazul's mages. I had difficulty talking to other people, and whenever I did, it felt as if the others were like wax figures. Like some cruel joke put in front of my eyes in order to mock me. Better. Our mission, my responsibility here as a leader, it has helped me to find my way back into the real world. What would have been the alternative? A life as a fisherman? In fact, this is precisely what is missing in the world. People who do not let the whims of fate break their resolve. Now, enough of this. We have business to attend to. Walk blessed, prophetess.
Madame, wait a moment. Whew. Here, a letter for you. What? Oh, thank you. Safe travels, and may it... I guide you.
Huh? What do you want? Teal Ornamental has returned after all these years. Malphas truly smiles at me.
Huh? Oh, hello. You're the companion of that mercenary, aren't you? Dalera, whatever his name is. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I'm so bad at ordering the report.
Malphas's blessings.
Huh?
Who are you?
Mate fades away at the end of
huh?
My Dame de Luna, and I felt
Well, there comes a point. Just
What?
Madame? Yes?
Ah, there you are. Yeah, I changed my mind. Come, let's go upstairs. It'll be worth it. There we are. Wait a second. So, wine or pipe? Chilean sweetwater tobacco. 100 times better than what they smoke here. Consider it a congratulatory gift for passing the trial. nothing better than a good pipe and a nice sight to go along with it. It's always sad to see how few people can truly appreciate these things. Anyway, tell me, fair lady, what is it that drives you? I've been asking that myself since we met. I mean, it's not like anyone's forcing you to play errand boy for Orenthiel, is there? And with your abilities, you could make a fortune as a mercenary. Not to mention the danger you put yourself in. Securing the excavation site, passing the trial, they certainly haven't been easy on you so far. Makes sense. In any case, it's interesting to see how you've gotten from being a magically gifted refugee to the center of all this. Kind of reminds me of a woman I used to travel with, Alicia. No matter where she went, she always ended up in the eye of the storm. That was 13 years ago now. By the wise hermit, time really is merciless. We got hired for the same job. Usually I work better on my own, but this partnership was refreshing in every aspect. It felt good to know someone's got your back for a change, especially with the kind of work I do. Which is why we decided to stick together after that first job. And it went great, at least initially. She was just too intense. That's the right word for it. She wanted everything, and she wanted it at once. The rarest jewels, the most handsome men, the best contracts. If you would have asked her to steal the Golden Queen's crown, she would have done it without hesitation, just for the thrill of it. We traveled together and we had sex, so yes, according to most people's definition of it, we were a couple. That was, let me think, about 3 years. Yeah, we went to Araziel, Kira, Arkwend, and one time we even fought a group of Petrified on Ulay. She fought as ardently as she lived. I don't know how I would have survived that fight without her. Oh, yes, she was. I love a good adventure and earthly pleasures, but I can cope without them. I could always tell a difficult job from a reckless one, and that's kept me alive. Alicia pretty much lived by one principle. The more extreme the job, the better. With that attitude, I guess it was obvious that things would go south eventually, one way or the other. Well, she started expecting more from our partnership. Our talks and the occasional sex. As she saw it, you either go all the way or you don't go at all. I wasn't ready for that. Love as she defined it, yeah. Had it been for her, we would have married after that first night. That's a long story. Not one that puts me in a favorable light. At least if you're like most people. Let's save that for another time. Split up. Yeah, that's one way to put it, but anyway. Enough about me. What about you? Has there ever been someone in your life? Or have you always been the lone wolf? I see. Maybe you can tell me about that one day. I'd love to hear it. I, for one, have had enough drama to last me a lifetime. Sex is fine, but I guess I'm just not naive enough for anything else anymore. Love, love, love. People have such wrong-headed expectations, really. Sometimes I think it would help us all to finally admit that there isn't that much that separates us from the apes. Anyway, why don't you tell me a little more about this trial? I heard you passed it together with that quiet girl, Kalia. What's she like? I've heard some stories about her. That's just life, I think. There comes a point when you've done all you can. My. We've certainly lost track of time, haven't we? I really need to hit the hay for a couple hours now. I'll have to go look for some new work tomorrow. And I've heard about a nobleman who's looking for a sellsword. That is, if Orenthiel or old Bushybeard doesn't have a new job for me by then. Say what you want about them. Their pay is beyond generous. I'll see you around, fair lady. Huh?
penny, madame. Please, just one penny.
Evening.
What do you want? To cock at me? Just leave. Please.
Evening.
Move along. Huh? Now you're quite the sight. How about a little bit of fun?
My dame?
Penny, madame. Please, just one penny.
Obulus, my dame, please. The Lord will redeem you for your kindness.
Keep walking. Keep walking. Thank you, Sunchild. You saved a lot of lives today.
Huh?
Tips. Just be wary of your outside city walls. I guess you've noticed as much already, but this country has seen better days.
Huh? You're from the surface, aren't you?
Well,
They say
yeah.
the tea
Let me
ladder
put it
and
this
fish
way.
came back. Let's hope
Borrowed
he knows who rules this place. as
I'm
well
not
as the
sure
true
what you
Chesapeake.
mean.
Safe travels.
A penny, madame. Please, just one penny.
There you are. Magister Karus has been looking for you.
Chorus? What's that?
I don't know, but I think it's about the tome he wanted you to transcribe.
Ah, I thought... Well, never mind. By the way, have you seen this new Neremese mage woman? Pegast, or whatever her name was.
I've heard about her, yes. She's the Scarab, isn't she? Yeah, I know what you mean. But don't worry so much. I'm certain the Grandmaster knows what he's doing. Now go.
This is holy ground, Outlander. You do not belong here.
Ah, greetings. Of course, what do you need?
This is holy ground, Outlander. You don't belong here.
More about the Pyrean Civil War, the one that took place shortly before the cleansing. That's your area of expertise, isn't it?
Well, I did study the Chronicles, so I suppose so, yes. What do you need to know?
This Jackal, the commander of Dilgar, who incited the conflict. What do you know about him?
Only what's written in the old lore. He was a fast climber, and he wasn't born into the cast like most sun priests are.
Wait, so you're saying he was no Dilgar by blood, and yet he made it to their commander?
Yes, because he was a pragmatist. Whatever was necessary to gain him influence and power, he did it.
One day,
you know the
Leia.
kind of person.
One day.
That doesn't go along well with the fact that he started this war against the idiot.
Well, look at that. You've actually survived the pointless test. Let's hope those ignorant fools will treat you with more respect than us heretics, although I truly... Oh, who gloriously defeated us in the Battle of Zaramar, and have since then terrorized and plotted against the poor people of the civilized world by all means necessary. Oh, and did I forget to mention that we eat babies for breakfast? Well, now I have. Through most of it, yes. But I don't want to go into detail.
Pathlessness, wherever you look. Where is this supposed to lead?
Quite some... But why not? You're not one of those god lambs, so where's the harm in telling you? Yes, the Lightborn are dead, killed by the Shadowborn. But truth be told, too little has changed for us to feel any different. If that makes sense. Yes, but that's because the Lightborn have left a power vacuum, and everybody feels obliged to fill it himself. Plus, there's the cycle, which seems to drive people into violence. I'm talking about grand-scale changes, such as in the way we think. To know that gods can be killed, that there is no other power in life than life itself. That has to do something with people, doesn't it? Well, bullshit. Just look around Enderal. The most religious country of all, and yet people act as if nothing has happened. All it needs is some fancily dressed up clergyman to tell them that the rumors are false, and they swallow it like mulled wine and go on about their business. It's depressing. Well, I've been thinking about that. I suppose it's because the Lightborn's reign has always lived from people believing them to be divine, rather than actually being it, if that makes sense. They're more like symbols. Regret? Far from it. The gods were tyrants, and they robbed mankind of their right to self-determination. Regardless of the consequences, what we enabled the Shadow God to do was the right thing to do.
Let's hope he knows what he's doing.
Ha! We'd be a pretty pathetic order if that was all of us, wouldn't we? No, only a handful of us came here. Let's just say the others weren't as thrilled by the idea of joining forces with our arch-enemies. Especially if it's just to fight some phantasm, as they put it. Not all of them. No. Most did, but they didn't connect the dots. Or, which is more likely, didn't want to. And yes, I am frustrated to see that much ignorance in our own ranks. But those who matter are here. That's important.
Pathless. Wherever you look, where is this supposed to lead? Let's hope he knows what he's doing.
Move along.
Yes.
It is time. Come forward, prophetess. I know what you are feeling. Mistrust. For it is the first time in the history of the Order that a stranger will receive the holy consecration. You consider it a treason against our charter, and therefore against us all. And indeed, it is true that traditions have strengthened the Order. We have ruled this land for millennia, and for millennia we have prevailed. And I know that what happened 2 years ago has unsettled you. Yes, we are in a crisis. Yes, our foundation seems to be shattered. And now you believe that I profane even what little is left by consecrating a pathless one. But you are wrong. It was always people who have given strength to the Order. People like you and me. Yes, we did serve the Lightborn, but because they embodied an idea. The idea of peace through stability. And even now, after their demise, we will pursue this idea. We are facing a threat that endangers the world as we know it. And to fight it, we need one thing above all others, the readiness to make sacrifices for the greater good. This woman, like Novice Sakaresh, has shown this readiness. She is talented and has a gift, and thus carries responsibility. But instead of running from this responsibility, she faced it, found us. She passed the holy trial just as we all did, and therefore she is worthy of joining our ranks. Consecrated ones, repeat my words. This is the day when my old me dies away. For today, I receive the sigil.
This is the day when my old me dies away. For today, I receive the sigil.
From now on, I live to protect, by sword and mind, the path, my land, and those who are without strength.
From now on, I live to protect, by sword and mind, the path, my land, and those who are without strength.
Until death absolves me from my duty.
Until death absolves me from my duty.
Thus, you are elevated to keepers of the first sigil. Rise. Now let us all recite the holy words. Thou art my light, my glimmer at the horizon. Thy name is my sacrament, and thy path I will honor, in life as in death.
May your light guide
me. Leave now, brothers and sisters, and rest. We will need our strength. Go and get your armor at the temple's forge. After that, meet me in the Emporium. There's news. Ranks. After a novice has passed the trial, he is raised into the first sigil, and over the course of years, if he proves to be worthy, into higher ranks, up to the fourth sigil, which is held by the Tuchessa and the Grandmaster, me. Of the first sigil, yes. Our masters will teach you, our smiths will equip you. That is all that I wanted. Walk blessed.
Blazes. Just can't
The
bloody
fabled prodigy. I hope you can live up to what they say about you. I really do.
Huh. You're the one they call the prophetess.
Thy name is my sacrament, and thy love.
Now, if it isn't the notorious prodigy. Ah, right. The highly debated new keeper. You suddenly have caused some uproar. I'll give you that. So, robes, mail, or plate?
That's just how he is. Always.
Fine, here you go. And no matter what you think of all this, wearing this armor is an honor. Get that into your head. Most of us had to wait decades. It's blessed. Sure. You'll have to pay normally, though. As much as the Grandmaster favors you, metal and work don't come for free. Walk blessed.
Huh? Pathlessness, wherever you look.
know how these bureaucrats are, but they will do it.
Very good. Thanks for your efforts, my friend.
Don't mention it. I just hope you know what you're doing. You know, many see the course the Order has taken since you came back as disquieting. Narazul's mages in the temple? An outlander as a keeper? It's a lot to take in.
I know, Jorik, but someone has to deal with the threat. And if we don't, no one will.
Yes, I suppose you're right. So, you actually made it, Prodigy. Congratulations. Even though I'm not sure everyone is as glad about that as the Grand Master.
That's the prophetess, isn't it?
Well, I suppose you could say that, yes. Natara, Tealor, and I passed our novitiate together. You make it sound as if the Order is some kind of mercenary guild. You don't join the Order, you're chosen for it. Both Heranthiel and I come from a bloodline older than the stones of this temple. It was our path to become keepers, and we followed it. It wasn't much of a choice. That's a different story, and not... Should I? I don't know if you deserve to be here. Maybe there is something to the Grand Master. You make it... It was our path to become... no. But enough of the chit-chat. I'm really not in the mood for it. Good luck with whatever the Grand Master has planned for you.
Prophetess, did you find your way around? Good. It is important that you get adjusted to this place. It will be the base of all operations to come. Right now, we are still in the dark as to the true nature of this cycle. All we have are fragments, but we will change that. There are 2 trails we have found. I want you to go after both of them. The first one has to do with the stone fragments from Old Rashengrad. Pegast has not yet told you, but all of them together form a so-called sigilled stone, which we urgently need. The Arcanists have already put it together, but we still lack a part of the ritual to activate it. And for that, we need the memory of a dead person. The second trail revolves around a discovery we made in the Heartland. It could be a significant, if not the only prospect we have in this fight. Where do you want to start? We assume that in the last cycle, the Pyreans worked on a machine which they hoped would save them from the cleansing. An old artifact which they tried to put back together. Well, we do know that the cycle is not an ordinary threat. It functions in a way we have not even come close to comprehending, almost like a cosmic force. This makes it naive to believe one could face this threat like a foe made of flesh and blood. Maybe, however, this machine can. As I said, the Pyreans didn't invent this machine. They merely reconstructed it from old plans they found somewhere. And if they thought this idea was worth pursuing, we should at least look into it. Pegast found an old ruin named Old Dothelgrad, which seemed to be some kind of laboratory of the Dilgar, one of the ruling castes in the Pyrean era. She assumes that we might find hints about this machine there, or maybe even a prototype. I want you to help her in any way possible. Maybe your gift can reveal things normal eyes can't see. They were the 2 different castes who ruled the Pyrean realm. Officially, they were servants of their highest being, the deity all of Pyrea worshipped, but everyone knew that it was the castes who had the power. And while the Ishian valued tradition, the Dilgar valued progress, which, as you can imagine, led to differences between the 2, to say the least. They were the Lightborn of the Pyrean era, you could say. Yes, because they never had a chance to finish it. The Pyrean realm was in a constant state of war shortly before the cleansing, just like Vin has been for the past few years. And even if the machine does not work, any knowledge we can get from their struggle against the cycle is crucial. It's in a remote section of the Heartland. Keeper Sakaresh will accompany you there and show you the way. Good luck.
Ah, there you are. The Grandmaster already briefed me on our mission. Shall we go? Why do you ask? Does it bother you? Yes, that's true. To answer your question, I don't know. I assume I am accompanying you because we both did the trial together, but as to why you are assigned to such a crucial mission is beyond me. It seems the Grandmaster really does believe, but anyway, I suggest we save these questions for later. For now, yes, the ruin isn't far from here. Just meet me at the Myrids Tower in the Northern Heartland. I will wait for you there once I finish my preparations. Yes? Yes, it is. Master Tyrus, my foster father. He was half Kyranian, as you might have guessed already. Some words just stuck around. My Dame Deluna.
And I felt it. Well, seems the Grandmaster is easy for you. To whom I judgment.
Madame?
Yeah, it's not as if I didn't tell them that already. My dame.
Yes?
Greetings.
Fabulous, my dame. The Lord will redeem you for your kindness.
Is it important?
Walk blessed. Trade? Huh. Well, I guess it depends on what you need. If you have the smithing skills and want to find some this ore, you should check one of the mines there. Well, you've asked for it. Safe travels. There you are. Here, I got us a map from the Archmagister. Do you see that? We're here, and back there is the ruin where we'll meet Pegast. So I'd say, let's go. You lead the way, I'll cover your back. Yes? It's so quiet here. Before this whole mess with the Red Madness and the bandits... These roads were crowded with travelers, hunters, and traveling merchants. It's strange to say that. There. Careful. That must be the ruin. Yes? That was all of them. That was all of them.
But there were just too many. We did our best. Madame, and...
You did jack shit. That's what you did. 3 of our people are dead, and now the goddamn entrance is blocked up. This is fucking unbelievable. Get out of here, now! I need to think.
That doesn't sound good.
You? Out of all the goddamn people in this goddamn land, you are the last person I expected to see here. Well, though I don't have the slightest idea, you?
Nightshade elixir isn't just some weird droga. It's a centuries-old recipe that was already being used by the first vassals. Maybe you should have known that before judging our traditions.
Well, now I do. And just who exactly are you?
Kalia Sakaresh, keeper of the first sigil. I was exalted together with the one you call the prophetess.
Sakaresh? You're the girl from the village.
Maybe. Have you heard of me?
Well, there are some interesting rumors revolving around you. Let's put it that way. But who am I to complain? 2 keepers are certainly better than those idiots from the guard. Actually, you've come at just the right time. You'll be surprised, but I've found myself in almost exactly the same trouble as in Alt-Rashengrad. See, almost. They ran in here about 2 hours ago and charged through it. Well, that's the problem. It leads down into the ruin, and they dashed right into it, and somehow succeeded in accidentally activating some kind of mech. Now, anyone who gets too close to it gets roasted like a chicken. So now we can't go. We need to find, but at least we've got we're still stuck. Who knows? Maybe you'll see something in the past that might help us.
An outlander. Isn't this nice?
Greetings.
Here we go. And before you ask, our dead buddy on the platform was already there when we got here. No idea what's keeping his body from decaying. It looks like some kind of magic to me. So I'd say just take a look around. I'm sure the bells have something to do with the riddle.
Maybe. Are you alright? You look pale. You did? Then this mage woman was right. What did you...
How was I right? How was I right? Seriously? By the prof. But who am I to complain? So, what? Be my guest. Just make sure that you don't accidentally collapse this place, okay?
Yes, that must be it. That sounded right. That sounded right. Yes, that must be it. Yes, that's it. Now will we...
What the fuck?
Oh,
What's
blazes.
happening?
to Reiko? We just solved. How is that even possible?
scum. You'll pay for that.
Piece of shit! You'll pay for that. There we go. That trick has yet to disappoint me. So what do you say now, you piece of shit? I'll make you pay for what you... Well, that's just great. Another weapon-wielding bitch.
Put down your weapon. I don't want to hurt you.
Oh, is that so?
All of your men are dead. And even if you manage to get past us, there are dozens of guards further up. So put down your weapon, or you will regret it.
Such determination. All right, then. Die!
As you wish. Are you all right? It's nothing. Did he hurt you? Can you walk? What is this, an interrogation? As I see it, I just...
There we go. That trick has yet to disappoint me. So what do you say now, you piece of shit? I'll make you pay for what you... Well, that's just great. Another weapon-wielding bitch.
Put down your weapon. I don't want to hurt you.
Oh, is that so?
All of your men are dead. And even if you manage to get past us, there are dozens of guards further up. So put down your weapon, or you will regret it.
Such determination. All right, then. Die!
As you wish. Are you all right? It's nothing. Did he hurt you? I fell, thank Malphus, into a thicket farther down the ruin. It was some kind of machine room. At least that's what it looked like to me. And luckily enough, that's also how the traps in the entrance... I tried to deactivate them. We'll see if it worked. Anyway. Do you see the camp down there? We should take a look at it. Yes?
You can't do that, please.
Stay right there. Who are you?
I'm not one of them. Please don't hurt me. Oh, by the righteous path. What did I get myself into? Alice Summerstone. I'm just a simple man, a farmer by me path. I have 2 daughters. Maybe you know one of me girls. She sells her bread at the market, Mondas de Freiras. Yes, exactly. That's her. Aye, of course. Do you know who Landlord Boric is?
He's one of the most influential landlords of the Farmer's Coast. Both the guard and the order get their food from his lands. What does he have to do with this?
Everything. He's a pathless bastard. And all of this is his fault. I swear it by me name.
Why?
Because he's a criminal, that's why. But it's the truth. You have to believe me. The tolls... Aye, who else? Which is also why no one does anything about them. No, this money isn't his. Well, I think you can figure... Aye. I knew from and he said that he and his men might be willing to help me, if they would get money from it. Apparently, they even had a sense of honor and path-abidingness, if you can call it that. They're from a traveling merchant. We ambushed him, and you know what we did. But I swear by me name we didn't hurt him. When we had the money, all Sunfire started breaking loose. Some kind of woman appeared, all veiled and dressed in black. And in the wink of an eye, she killed 2 of Carrick's men. We tried to fight her at first, but then we ran for it. Well, and ended up in this ruin. I know. I was there. Carrick was so mad about all that happened with this witch woman, you know? I think he just wanted to get his men to safety. But still, you're right. I was a fool to trust him, and I regret what I did. She didn't speak much, but yes, she had dark robes. And she was... different. Unholy. Sorry, I don't know how to describe her any better. Me farm and me family, aye. Please, it's the right thing to do. If I don't have the money by the next turn of the moon, Boric and his lackeys will change their tune. and I know what that means.
It's a tough call. I can understand his motivation, but that doesn't change the consequence of his actions. If we let him run, we legitimize his crime, so to speak. You should justify your crime before the tribunal. Explain to them what Boric did, and they might judge you lightly.
Judge lightly? You don't really believe that, do you? They don't care about the why, and even if they do, it doesn't change a damn thing about the fact that my family is lost without this money.
Maybe, but it doesn't change the fact that you're at least partially responsible for what happened here. But it's your call.
No, but... Oh, damn. What did I get myself into?
By the prophet's ass, you really got them all. You don't stop surprising me, that's for sure. And neither do you, Keeper Sakaresh. Thanks for deactivating the traps up there. Who's our shackled friend here? He doesn't look like one of the bandits.
No, but he's guilty nonetheless. Can you escort him to Ark?
To Ark? Sure. Jakil, Jorel, you take care of that. Alright then. I'd say if this machine is somewhere in this ruin, it's here. I suggest you two take a look around. We'll cover your back in the meantime.
Do you see the passage over there? We should take a look at it. I suppose we found our machine. At least, what's left of it. Do you feel anything, Saira? With your gift, I mean. Agreed. Maybe we can even take some small parts of it with us right now. The Order will transport the rest to Ark by Myrad. What strange metal. It didn't rust at all, despite all the time it's been here.
It works in a way we have not even come close to comprehending, like a cosmic force.
Correct. Nothing else possesses that much raw, magical power. All this energy, it's useless without the Numinos.
Yes? Found something? Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Sa'iro is Kyranian and can mean a lot of things, but the closest translation in our case would be sister-in-arms. My foster father called me that, so I suppose it's just an old habit. I like the way it sounds, though. If you don't mind, I'll call you that from now on. They look useful. Let's take them to the Chronicum. Yes? Let me see. Yes, I think you're right. Hopefully we didn't miss anything. Let's go talk to Pegast.
Now that was quick. So, what did you find? Well, and as long as we can reconstruct it, that's all right. Let's just hope it really will help us against this cleansing, whatever it is. As much as I admire Pyrean... let me see. Interesting. Truly interesting.
What?
Seems that this machine was only some kind of prototype. The real one the Pyreans were working on must be somewhere else. Plus, there's also a name for it. The Pyreans called it the Beacon.
That's poetic.
Indeed. Well then, it seems like you and your visions have once again saved the day, prophetess. There's a lot for us to do now. If you've taken care of your business here, I suggest you head back to Ark and report to old Oranthiel.
What do you think, Sa'ira? Do you want to leave now, or stay a little longer? Good. There you are. Pegast's mages have already told the Grandmaster about our find, and they're waiting for us in the Emporium. Let's go.
All that I am saying is that there are more efficient ways to battle this red madness. And heathen machines atop the Sun Temple are the last thing that will calm the townsfolk.
Maybe. But if this heathen machine is what the Pyreans used to combat the cycle, I want it near. Even if it turns out to be useless, only a fool turns down a chance. Sharim, how long will the reconstruction take?
Well, that depends on how many Pyrean mechanics you have on hand that can help us decipher these plans. Just think for once, Oranthiel. How are we supposed to give you an estimation if we don't even know what the finished machine is supposed to look like?
We will get to work right away, Grandmaster. But in any case, we're going to need a lot of steel and Pyrean crystals.
You will get them. Now, get to work. You did excellent work. That still leaves the sigil stone. It's simple. I've told you that the Pyreans knew about the cycle, and that they too battled it before they vanished. The sigil stone was a magical defense they created to protect themselves from through small fragments that segregate once a certain ritual is performed on it. Wear one of these fragments and it will serve you like a shield for your spirit. The stone won't produce enough for all citizens of Ark, but enough for all of us keepers and the guard. The problem is that we lack knowledge about this ritual, and those who have it have been dead for millennia.
That's beyond me.
Correct. The entire plan revolves around a discovery which is exhibited in the Chronicum. The frozen corpse of a Pyrean, which a fisherman found adrift in the Northern Sea some years ago. Yes, the ice prevented his body from decaying. But go to the Chronicum and speak to Archmagister Maragil. He will be able to explain it better than I can.
That's the prophetess, isn't it?
Malfast's blessings.
So, you
So,
actually
Ira,
made
good to
it,
see you.
Prodigy.
Do you need anything?
Congratulations. Even though I'm not sure...
Now, if it isn't the... Prodigy.
Saira, good to see you. Do you need anything? It was stitched into the blanket they found me in near that village. I don't really know if it is my actual name, but I had nothing else to go with, so it stuck. Tattoo? Oh, of course, you mean my mark. I've had that for as long as I can remember, and I don't have the slightest idea as to how I got it. Not without leaving a bad scar, at least according to the apothecary. And even if that weren't the case, I don't know if I'd want it gone. It reminds me of something. It does. You're the first to tell me that. But thanks, I guess. No, it isn't. It's just there, that's all. That's what Tyrus said too. But if it has a meaning, it's obscure. I couldn't find anything in the books, and the Magisters couldn't put their fingers on it either. That's convenient, actually. I think I still owe you an explanation. Yes, but let's talk somewhere else. Come on. So, sorry for all the secrecy. I just didn't want anyone else to listen in. Well, that moment when I neutralized the leader of the bandits in Old Dothelgrad, I'm sure you noticed that I was different then. Upset. You choose your words carefully, Saira. I appreciate that. I'll make this quick. There is something about me that you don't know. That no one knows, actually. Do you remember what I told you in the curarium about the destroyed village? Well, I wasn't entirely honest with you. Not all of it, no, and it's true that I don't know how I ended up there. But I remembered something just before I regained consciousness. Some kind of vague memory. A feeling coupled with an image. It's hard to describe because it didn't last very long, but I saw myself, but I was somehow above the rooftops, as if I flew. Below me, I saw all the chaos, the dead, the fire, the devastated houses, and I somehow felt hot, but from inside, as if my blood was boiling. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? I'm sorry, but I don't know how to describe it better than that. It was something that actually happened, I'm sure of it. But the memory, it was somehow blurred. Like a dream, but a very vivid one. Nothing. I woke up, and from there things happened just as I've already told you. But that's not really what I'm trying to get at. In that memory, when I saw all those dead bodies and all that destruction, I felt satisfaction. Pleasure. As if all that suffering, all that pain was the most exhilarating thing I'd ever seen. Well, I didn't know what to make of that memory myself for quite a long time. But then, things happened that made me understand. There is something inside my head, Saira. Some kind of second soul, an entity. Most of the time it sleeps, but there are situations in which it wakes up. Mostly when something atrocious happens or has happened. Blood, pain, death. Whenever I'm confronted with these kinds of things, it tries to, I don't know how to put it, tries to take control of me, and then things like Untitled happen. It's never managed to completely take me over, and it hasn't gotten as far as it did in Untitled for a long, long time now. But that memory from the village, I think that is what happens when I let myself go completely. Yes, it is immense, Saira. I can feel it every time it is trying to take me over. I don't even want to think about what would happen if I were to give in completely. I figure. Listen, what happened in Old Dothelgrad, I never should have let it come to that. But that moment when he charged me, the blood on his sword, I just couldn't contain it. And when I gave in, when I hacked him into pieces, I simply felt so thrilled, complete. I was naive to believe it would never get that far again. This is the reason why I train so hard, why I always try to control my emotions no matter what people do or say to me. This creature inside me, it's always on the hunt. And the only way I can keep it at bay is by controlling both my body and spirit 100%. Just one moment of carelessness. That's all it takes. Only Master Tyrus, my foster father. He taught me how to contain it by controlling my thoughts. And he also advised me never to tell anyone about it, which I haven't, until today. I don't know. Probably because I was afraid you'd tell someone else about what happened in Old Dothelgrad and that would raise suspicions. A coward's move, I know, but it was the best solution I could come up with. I'm sorry. No way that I know of, at least. Who should I ask? The apothecary? There are two ways that would go. Either they would ridicule me, or they would take me seriously and report my condition to the Order. Neither way helps me, and who knows what the Order would do if they found out, especially as strained as the situation is right now. Well, what would be the alternative? Transcribe Pyrean books like the Magisters do all day? Or drop out entirely and pour hot water for the upper city's noblewomen? Look, Saira, as you already pointed out, there is a chance that this thing inside me is responsible for the massacre in the village. And if that's true, I definitely have a lot of repentance to do, don't you think? And even if it isn't, I want to change things, to make the world at least a little bit better. And yes, I do realize that this means a lot of hardship and hard work for me, but I'm not afraid of that. Do you know why? Because that's what's missing in this world. So many people just talk, and never act, because that would mean that they'd have to actually endure something for what they believe in. One that shouldn't be an exception. Anyway, the one thing I ask of you is to keep silent about what I've told you. It will never come to something like that again, I promise. I'd like some time by myself now, and thanks for listening.
This just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, this just doesn't make any sense. Why can't it ever be easy?
Thou art my light.
Oh, you're here? I thought you were in the city.
No, the Archmagister ordered me back. It feels good to be here, to be honest. But the funerals, I could have done without them, though.
I don't doubt that. Oh, hey. I still can't believe that really.
What?
So what's so spectacular about this? Hey, our pal here looks like your average crypt corpse.
Well, he isn't. Do you see this marking on his forehead? That's a symbol of the Ashian, one of the two priest castes who reigned over the Pyrean Empire like the Lightborn did over Vin. He was no high priest, but more than an acolyte. Let's just hope he participated in the manufacture of the sigil stone back in the Pyrean era.
Well, hope it can't hurt. Oh, look, we have company.
Archmagister, how's the situation?
Walk blessed, Grandmaster. We're fine. Everything is ready. So this is her?
Yes.
Yes?
This is the prophetess.
I do? Thought I had gotten rid of it by now. But yes, Oh, I don't know. Probably. You know, if someone... It's absurd just to think of it. You know, I was a slave there. Yes, you see, Sorry, I'm babbling. I don't want to bother you with my boring story. Well, after some days on the road, we met a traveling merchant who gave us a ride to the next... It seemed almost perfect at the beginning. The place was quiet, and my mother found herself a job as... One day, however, the Count simply stopped paying her. And, well, when she asked for the reason, he told her that we were his property from that moment on. Just like that. Why wouldn't it be? We were just a woman and a young son, and he owned both the land and the local guard. We had to serve this Creole, that was the Count's name, for 9 years. It was horrible. No one. We weren't the only slaves he kept. Pure luck, I suppose. One day, an Endralean merchant and his escort, and just by coincidence, he saw me crushing some herbs I had found in the forest. That's what I did in the little spare time I had, you know. The Salathan forest is so incredibly rich with plants you have no idea. What I didn't know was that I had found an entire sheaf of God's tongue. That impressed the merchant so much that he simply bought me. He left her there. Believe me, what he did had nothing to do with mercy. He just saw that there was money to be made off of me. I cried and protested, of course, but 2 months later, our ship arrived in Ark, where he got infected with flesh maggots and died shortly thereafter. Luckily enough, he was a sublime. And since his relatives didn't know what to do with me once he was dead, they simply asked the Order to grant me the novitiate, which they did. How the left path sounds crazy when I tell it like that, and it probably is. But back then, it just happened. I tried, but as you can imagine, my obligations made my options to do so very limited. Only recently, however, word reached me from a mercenary whom I sent over. According to him, but who knows if he just said that to appease me. I think when all of this is over, I might ask the Grandmaster for By the righteous path, now I'm sure a woman like you has better things to do than listen to the stories of a boring chronicler. I should probably get back to business. Forgive me. Don't ask. Reconstructing the outer shell was challenging, particularly given the strange metal it is made of, but we found a way to do it. As for its inner workings and what these sockets are for, we are still lurking. This machine, it's, how should I say, different. Interesting. Truly interesting. I imagined you to be different. I'm like sealed marriage. So, where do we start? Correct. Now you're wondering, how will this be possible? This is where the word of the dead comes into play. An old relic we'll need to find.
The word of the dead? I thought that was a legend.
No, it exists. And we also know where. Just so you understand, the word of the dead is an artifact that allows entering a deceased person's mind to relive his last memories as if they were your own.
And you want to do just that with our frozen pal here. This is the grand plan, right?
Right. You'll need to locate the word of the dead, teleport the Pyrean's body to you, and then enter his thoughts. And there you'll have to look for the words of the ritual. Well, we only lack the last words of this ritual. What you have to look for is an ornamental scroll, which looks just like the one on the drawing I'll give you in a moment. All you have to do is remember the glyphs and the scroll, then write them down once you're back in the waking world. Well, this is...
There's an old manor in Andral's West that belongs to an old collector of artifacts. We received a tip that the word of the dead is in his possession.
Hang on. Are you talking about this odd fellow with the puppets? The aged man from the folk song?
I am. You won't take it. It will be enough to find it. Use it on the Pyrean and then leave. You won't take it. You will travel, then you will offer him this brooch, and if all goes well, he will offer you a quarter for the night to negotiate in the morning. Then it's all a matter of timing. Sneak out of your room, look for the word of the dead, and teleport the Pyrean to you. A good question, but no. The aged man is special, so to speak. Even the Lightborn ordered us to let him live in peace. The Black Guardian knows why. So, if we have to trick him, we will at least do it inconspicuously, which is why you and the mercenary are well suited for the task. No one will connect your faces to the Holy Order. Then you'll flee. There must be no violence, no... Archmagister?
Yes? Well, that is a good point. We don't know, because we don't even know what the artifact looks like. But, how goes the saying? The proof of the eating is in the pudding.
We'll manage somehow. And even if we don't, it definitely sounds like an adventure.
It's a great responsibility, be aware of that. But I have faith in both of you. Now get going as soon as you can. This mission will be fruitful. I can feel it.
And there they go. Yep, just meet me at the Myrids Tower at the Western Cliff. I'll go grab my stuff now. Just meet me at the Western Cliff, okay? I'll wait for you there. The scar. Well, let's put it this way. If you one day end up in... Never heard of it? It's the capital of Araziel. Hands up. Some rich snob had hired me back then to bring him a totem from one of the camps of the Free People. That is, the Arazelians who worship their ancestors. Since you're part of Razalian, I'll just assume you know the assassinations, the blood... No idea how much you know about Araziel, but the Free People have been in conflict with the civilized people, who do worship the Lightborn for centuries. Assassinations, blood feuds, and so on. The usual, if two sides both believe they know it all better. Anyway, obviously this job of mine originated from that feud. The totem belonged to a free tribe, and the snob wanted it in order to publicly defile it. So I got it for him. Correct. And I was a little drunk and a little lonely, if you get what I mean. Have you ever seen a pure-blooded Arazelian woman in her 20s? It's really hard to say no to that. In any case, as you already noticed, the whole thing went down differently than expected. My face made acquaintances with a table leg and 4 absolutely untender women's feet and hands. And of course, the totem was gone, together with all my clothing and money. I guess I had that coming somehow. That's what happens if you ask your loins rather than your head in the wrong situations. Yeah. Oh, whoa, such a cold world this is. But anyway, how does the saying go? A truly beautiful face can never be tarnished. And that's why you enjoy working with me. Yeah, I did. Why do you ask? Well, and yeah, I don't eat God's tongue for breakfast, but it was always enough for a roof over my head when I wanted, and some other earthly pleasures. That's what life's all about, isn't it?